the transfer function. Just in our time domain behavior of linear time invariant system, we observed that if we are supplying an input xn to a system which is having impulse response hn, then the output of this system happens to be yn equal to xn convolved with hn, or this is also equals to hn convolved with xn, because convolution obeys the law of commutation. Now, if we perform the same action for the same system in transform domain, so the z transformed version of this xn will be equal to xz. The z transformed version of this impulse response is hz, and z transformed version of output is yz. And naturally, if we write down the expression for the z transform version of this convolution, so this will be equal to hz multiplied by xz. Okay. So naturally, from this expression, this hz will be equal to yz over xz. This is known as the transfer function of the system. And once you have known what is the value of this expression, you can very easily perform the inverse z transform to get the impulse response of the system. Okay. So let us do it for some signal, and just before doing this, I would also like to write down the expression of transfer function if difference equation form of the system is given to us. In difference equation form, a system is described like this: yn plus a1 y n minus 1 plus a2 y n minus 2 going this way up to an y n minus n equals to b0 xn plus b1 x n minus 1 going this way bm x n minus m. Okay. This is the difference equation form of a general digital filter, you can say. Now, if we take the z transform on both the sides, if we take the z transform, so this will be equal to yz plus a1 z inverse terms is coming because of this delay, and this yz using the property, and then a2 z power minus 2 and yz going this way an z is to the power minus n yz equals to b0 xz plus b1 z is to the power minus 1 xz going this way bm z is to the power minus m xz. Okay. This way we can write down the expression. Now, if you take yz common at the left hand side, if we take yz common, this will be equal to 1 plus a1 z is to the power minus 1 plus a2 z is to the power minus 2 going this way an z is to the power minus n equals to, if we take xz common at this side, at the right hand side, so this will be equal to b0 plus b1 z is to the power minus 1 going this way bm z is to the power minus m. Now, if you evaluate yz over xz, so naturally this will be equal to this divided by this. Okay. So, this will be b0 plus b1 z inverse plus bm z is to the power minus m 1 plus a1 z inverse plus a2 z to the power minus 2 plus an, z is to the power minus n. This is the transfer function of the system if its equation is given in the form of difference equation. Okay. Now suppose if one form is given to us, this means if difference equation is given to us, we can write down the other form of the system. Suppose we have given a difference equation like this, yn equals to 0.8 yn minus 1 plus 2xn. The difference equation form is given to us, and we have to write down the transfer function form. So what is the way we take z transform of both the sides? This will be equal to yz plus yz equals to 0.8, z is to the power minus 1, yz plus 2 xz. Okay. After taking z transform, it will appear like this. So this will be equal to yz 1 minus 0.8 z inverse equals to 2 xz. Now yz over xz is hz. So hz is equal to yz over xz. So this happens to be equal to what? 2 over 1 minus 8 z inverse. Okay. Now if you look at this signal, you can very easily estimate by taking inverse z transform that what would be hn. This is alpha z inverse. So 8 to the power n un, 8 to the power n un, this was the signal, and that too was multiplied with 2. So this is the signal if you take the inverse z transform. So simply by looking at that table of z transform pairs, you can very easily estimate this value. So if one form is given to you, you can reach to the other form. Suppose if hn is given to us, like this, that this is delta n minus 0.4, 0.5 to the power n un. So let us evaluate the other forms for this. So hz, if you get the z transform of this, so the z transform of delta n is 1. And what about this? This is alpha n un minus 0.4, 1 minus 0.5 z inverse. Okay. So if you do it, 1 minus 0.4 z over z minus 0.5. Okay. And if you take this z minus 0.5, so this happens to be z minus 0.5 minus 0.4 z. Okay. So this is 0.6 z minus 0.5 over z minus 0.5. Okay. So this is equal to yz over xz, and this can further be written as, this is 0.6 minus 0.5 z inverse and 1 minus 0.5 z inverse. This can be written like this. Now if you do the cross multiplication, this happens to be 1 minus 0.5 z inverse yz equals to 0.6 minus 0.5 z inverse xz. Now you can very easily write down the difference equation form of this system. So this is yz minus 0.5 z inverse yz equals to 0.6 xz minus 0.5 z inverse xz. So this will correspond to, if I change the page, this will correspond to yn minus 0.5 y n minus 1 equals to 0.6 x n minus 0.5 x n minus 1. So, this is the difference equation form of this system, simply by taking the inverse Z transform. Okay. Just by correlating from that table we can get this expression. Okay. So, this way you can do these things. Now, I will take rest of the things in next lecture. So, our goal is to determine the Z transform, that corresponds to this given pole 0 plot, and then we have to determine the signal itself. So, naturally, as you are looking from this pole 0 plot, that this signal will be a causal signal. Why? Because the region of convergence covers the exterior of some circle, having radius r. So, it is apparent from this diagram that it is having two zeros. One zero is at origin and another 0 is, if this distance is r and this angle is omega 0, so naturally its location will be r cos omega 0. The location of this 0 will be r cos omega 0. Getting this thing? So, Z2 will be r cos omega 0. Okay. And the poles, the very first pole is located at r e to the power j omega 0. This is the location of first pole. And what is the location of second pole? R e to the power minus j omega 0. P2 is located at r e to the power minus j omega 0. So, naturally the Z transform or xz, or you can say it to be xz. Xz is numerator polynomial in Z over denominator polynomial in Z. So, what comes in the numerator polynomial? Z and Z minus r cos omega 0. Okay. And there is one gain factor also, gain factor in this expression g. Okay. And here the very first root is of denominator polynomial is z minus r e to the power j omega 0, and second is z minus r e to the power minus j omega 0. Okay. Now, if you multiply these two expressions and solve them, so this will be equal to, first we solve for numerator, this will be equal to z square minus zr cos omega 0, and there will be a gain factor. Okay, this is not coming in the display zone. So, there is a gain factor this, then this is z square minus r z e to the power minus j omega 0 and minus r z e to the power j omega 0 plus r square. Okay. Is it the correct multiplication? Okay. Now, if you find out whether we can do some mathematical modification to make it cos term, Is it possible? So let us do it by z square minus zr cos omega 0 over z square minus r. Something is missing here. So this way, by solving this expression, we can reach up to this value, and this will give us the signal xn equals to Rn cos omega 0 n un. Okay. And un, because the region of convergence is exterior to some circle, so it can be very easily estimated as un. Okay. So now we will see the significance of the location of pole and then the time domain behavior of the signal. Pole location and time domain behavior of signal. Location of pole gives us some information about the time domain behavior of the signal. Suppose we have a signal xn which is given as an un and whose z transform is xz, and this is equal to 1 over 1 minus az inverse. And since this is un, so this is a causal signal, and ROC will be mod z will be greater than mod a. Now we see that this is suppose z plane. We have a reference circle having unit radius. This circle is called unit circle. Now if this pole is located somewhere near the unit circle, means naturally a is having value less than 1. If a is having value less than 1, naturally this signal will decay with time. Okay. So what will be the nature of this signal? The very first sample will be 1, okay, because a to the power 0 is 1. Then second sample is a, then a square, a cube going this way, it will decay like this. Okay. So this is your shape of xn. Getting this thing? Now suppose if this pole lies at the left hand side of this circle, at the left hand side of this circle, and that too interior to this circle having radius 1. Okay. Then what will happen? This, the very first sample will be minus a to the power 0. Minus a to the power 0 means 1. Second sample is minus a. Then minus a square means this will be positive in strength. This means the signal will appear something like this. Okay. This means it will also decay with n. Now you see what will happen if the pole lies on the unit circle. If the pole appears on the unit circle, then what will be the shape of the signal? You see, means A equals to 1. Okay, A equals to 1. Then naturally the signal is, the Z transform is Z over Z minus A. A is the pole, and if A equals to 1, this corresponds to the signal in inverse Z transform, this corresponds to the signal A n U n. And if A equals to 1, then what is the shape? It is the shape of U n. Okay. It is the shape of U n. You can very easily estimate what will be the shape if this pole lies at minus 1, A equals to minus 1. So naturally this will be 1 at origin, then minus 1 at this, n equal to minus 1, then 1 at n is equal to 2, then minus 1 at n is equal to 3, and so on. Okay. This signal will appear like this. Now you see what will happen if this pole lies outside this unit circle. If this pole lies outside this unit circle, this is a circle having radius 1. If this pole lies over here, somewhere here, what will be the shape? Suppose the value of pole is some 1.2, just for the example. If its value is 1.2, what will be its shape? The very first value will be 1.2. Okay. Then the very first value is 1.2 or 1. 1.2 to the power 0. 1. The very first value will be 1. Then second value will be 1.2. Then 1.2 square. 1.2 cube. This means it will grow exponentially. Okay. And its growth will be faster if this pole goes away from unit circle. It will grow quite more rapidly if this pole shifts from this location to this location, which is away from this unit circle. So naturally the rate of growth will increase. Getting my point? And similarly, if you observe the rate of growth or rate of decay, suppose if this pole is found closer to this unit circle, close to this unit circle, then if we draw the rate of decay, it will be quite this. And if it goes closer to the origin, the rate of decay will be faster. And if it is found very close to this origin, the rate of decay will be something like this. Getting my point? Because this is A n U n. Okay. Now if the same pole lies at the left hand side, you can very easily estimate the shape of the signal. If the pole lies somewhere here, this is a unit circle. Okay. So naturally the signal will be, the very first signal will be 1, then minus 1.2 if A I take to be 1.2, which is more than 1, a value having more than 1, then 1.2 square, 1.2 cube, like this. The signal will grow like this. Okay. And same is the situation if you move it farther away from this unit circle, this exponential growth will rise. Okay. Now you see, suppose if we take a causal real signal with double real pole, means if we take a signal, suppose xn equals to n a n u n, then it's a Z transform equals to, if you recall, this is rather a z inverse over 1 minus a z inverse whole square. Okay, this means it is having two poles located at A. Okay, so suppose if this is the situation, suppose this is the unit circle, we call it unit circle, and it has two real poles, multiplicity of this pole is 2, which is located just below the unit circle. Then what will be the shape of the signal, the corresponding signal, shape of corresponding signal? Suppose for example, if you take A to be equal to 0.9, okay, this pole, the location of this pole is A, and suppose the value of that A is 0.9, then how the signal will look like? The very first sample will be n is equal to 0, it will be 0. Okay. The second sample, n is equal to 1, 0.9 to the power 1 means it will be 0.9. Okay. Then n is equal to 2, 0.9 to the power 2. Okay. Naturally, it will be like this. Up to some point, it will rise like this. Then you will observe that it decays like this. Okay. This will be the shape of your signal. And similarly, it will be both sided towards this axis if you take these poles at the left hand side of this Z plane. Okay. This means the shape will be something like this. If we take this pole with multiplicity 2 equals to with multiplicity 2, and the location of this pole is A is equal to say minus 0.9. Okay. This means the very first sample will be 0, then first sample origin sample, and then the first is 0.9, and then okay, then I think the first, what is n a n u n, okay, n a n u n, origin is 0, then first is 1, okay, and this a means minus 0.9 and n means 1. Okay. So, this will be minus 0.9. The very after origin it will be like this, minus 0.9, and then minus 0.9 whole square and 2. Okay. It will be like this. Initially it will rise and then it starts falling like this. It decays. Okay. Now, if the pole is observed at, if multiple pole is observed at unit circle, then n a n u n is the signal. Naturally, this A will have the value 1. A is equal to 1. Pole appears on the unit circle means A equal to 1. And what will be the shape of the signal, corresponding shape of the signal? Origin sample will be this, and 1 to the power n means you can leave it, and this will be simply n u n. The very first sample will be 1, 2, 3 like this. Okay. So, this signal is also growing signal. Okay. Now, if suppose the pole appears exterior to this circle, this means it is attaining a value which is greater than 1, then naturally the signal will grow further, the signal will grow exponentially. like this. It will grow like this. Okay, this is the shape when pole is found exterior to this unit circle. Okay. Now you see, as we have solved in our earlier problem, that in our earlier problem there were two poles, one situated at, this is suppose at distance r and at angle omega 0, and then complex conjugate of this at distance r and angle minus omega 0. So naturally the location of this pole was r e to the power j omega 0, and location of this pole was r e to the power minus j omega 0. Okay. Which signal we obtained because of this kind of pole? The signal we obtained was like this: Rn cos omega 0 n un. Okay. Naturally, if the value of this r happens to be less than 1, then it will attain the shape like this. I am simply keeping the shape before you because it will attain the shape Rn cos omega 0 n. Okay, like this. Because r is less than 1, it will decay like this. This is this asymptote. This is taking value Rn, and this is cos omega 0 n. Okay. If this r takes the value equal to 1, then this will be the asymptote. R equals to 1 is the asymptote, and the signal is cos omega 0 n, which is inside. Okay. Then if r takes the value which is greater than 1, then naturally it will grow. Okay. So simply by looking at the location of pole relative to the unit circle, we can estimate the shape of the signal. Okay. We can estimate the shape of the signal. Now suppose if we have multiple poles on the unit circle, multiple complex poles on the unit circle, so naturally it will rise like this. Okay. The signal will be nRn cos omega 0 n form. Okay. What I wish to conclude over here is, in causal system or causal signal, we have poles located, say, to be a very simple signal z over z minus a. Okay. This corresponds to the signal an un. This is the z transform corresponding to this signal. Okay. If this pole A is inside this unit circle, this means what is the region of convergence of this signal? This is exterior to this, means ROC is mod z is greater than mod a. ROC is greater than a. This means ROC is exterior to a circle which is having radius a. So ROC is this. So in case of causal signal and system, if ROC covers the unit circle, if region of convergence covers the unit circle, then the system is stable. Okay. If ROC covers the unit circle, then system is stable. Okay. What happens if pole appears beyond this unit circle? means suppose pole appears somewhere here. So naturally the region of convergence will be exterior to this circle. Now region of convergence does not cover this unit circle. So this system is therefore unstable. Okay, getting my point? Now suppose this was the situation with causal signal or causal system. Suppose if we have anti-causal signal or anti-causal system, okay, then what will happen? What about the location of pole and region of convergence? Suppose just for the sake of example, I am taking an anti-causal signal like say minus alpha n u minus n minus 1. This is having Z transform Z over Z minus A, and region of convergence mod Z is less than mod alpha. Okay. Now you see, this is going to give you a pole situated at A or alpha, whatever you say, A, you say it A or alpha, and this is unit circle. Okay. Now if this pole appears away from this unit circle, beyond this unit circle, then what will happen? This is a anti-causal signal. Okay, you take this value to be equal to say 1.1. So naturally, what value of n you are going to take? Since it is an anti-causal signal, n will start from minus 1. N will start from minus 1. N will range from minus infinity to minus 1 for anti-causal signal. Okay. So the very first n in this signal is minus 1. Okay. So alpha means 1.1 to the power minus 1. Okay. Naturally this will result a value which is less than 1. And second sample 1.1 to the power minus 2. Still it will give a value which is less than minus 1. And this way this signal will decay. Okay. This signal will decay like this. Okay. So for anti-causal signal you should have pole. See, if it is a single and real pole, it should appear outside of the unit circle. And there that principle also holds, that unit circle comes inside the region of convergence. Why? Because here if we draw the region of convergence, in case of anti-causal signal, it happens interior to this circle. Interior to this circle having radius alpha. So if region of convergence is interior to this circle having radius alpha, then naturally it is covering the unit circle. So if signal or system is anti-causal and region of convergence covers the unit circle, then it is stable. Okay. Getting my point? Suppose if alpha appears okay, suppose we have a situation where we have both kind of signals, means anti-causal and causal both. Suppose we have a signal like this. Okay. Rather we can skip this part. We should leave this sample. this is a signal which comprises of causal as well as anti-causal part. Okay. Now you see, what will be the region of convergence for this part? The region of convergence for this part will be exterior to some circle having say radius alpha. The region of convergence of this part will be interior to some circle having radius beta. Okay. Now suppose if the region of convergence for this is exterior to some circle alpha, because this is causal part of the signal, okay, and region of convergence of this part is interior to some circle having radius beta. Suppose this is beta, this was alpha. Now if unit circle lies somewhere between this radius alpha and beta, then in total we say that this system is stable. Okay. Getting my point? This means if alpha happens to be say some value less than 1 and beta happens to be some value greater than 1, then only this system will be stable, because the common region of convergence is this annular ring, okay, which covers the unit circle. Otherwise this system would not be a stable system. Now after covering this much of detail, I will cover the inverse Z transform.